Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. Today's story time is definitely an interesting one. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's a high school story time. This story time all takes place in the last year of high school for me. And this is how I actually almost got expelled from high school. Yeah, it was actually one of the last times I got sent to the office, and it almost ended with me being expelled. But there's a lot more to it than that. I think you guys will really enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's jump right into today's story time. Today's story time all starts off as a normal day on my last year of high school. I woke up, I got out of bed, I took a shower, got ready for my day like any other day, and I'm just sitting in my room waiting for the bus to show up, and I'm on my phone scrolling through Twitter, and one of my friends hits me up, and he's like, "Yo, man, what are you doing today?" I was like, "Going to school. What about you?" Now, this friend of mine that was hitting me up didn't go to school. He was already graduated, and my friend's like, "You want to hang out today?" And I was like, "Why are you awake? Like, it's almost 7 in the morning. Why are you up?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just bored. I stayed up all night. I want to hang out with someone." So I have two choices at this point. I either skip school and go hang out with my friend and risk getting in trouble from not only my school but also my parents, or I go to school. And I picked skipping school and hanging out with my friend. I tell him to come pick me up. Within 20 minutes, he's at my house, and I go to hang out with him. And about an hour goes by of me not being in school and hanging out with my friend at his house, and my mom calls me up. And she's like, "Hey, the school just called me and said you didn't show up today. Are you there? What's going on?" I was like, "What? That's funny. Like, I'm here right now." And I sent her this old picture of me in class, like a selfie I took. And somehow that worked. She just fell for it. She's like, "Oh, okay, they must have gotten it wrong or something. Like, I won't worry about it then." I was like, "All right, sounds good." And she hangs up with me. Now, I don't know how it was that easy to just get out of it. Usually it was never that easy with her. Like, I would try and lie to my mom and she would just know. She would just know I was lying. She'd be like, "Yep, I know you're lying. I'm coming to get you right now. Where are you?" But she didn't do that this time. I guess she just believed me. And that was that, right? I thought that'd be the end of it. It gets a whole lot worse. So about 30 minutes later, my friend starts getting tired and he wants to go to bed because he had been up all night the night before. Now at this point, I'm like, "Dude, come on. I skipped school to hang out with you. Like, you're going to bed now. We've only been hanging out for like an hour and a half. Like, come on, man." He's like, "I don't know, man. I'm really tired. I haven't gotten any sleep. Where do you want me to drop you off? Like, I'll bring you home before I go to bed." So I had two choices. I'd either go home and my brother would be there and he would know I skipped school and probably rat on me to my mom, because by this time in the morning he was usually awake. Like, when I left to go hang out with my friend, he wasn't up yet, so he didn't see me skipping school. But if he sees me come home with my friend during the school day, he'll know I skipped. So I have that choice and possibly risk getting in trouble that way, or I just go to school and finish out my day there and, show up late. So I picked school. I had my friend drop me off at my school. I walked in, I go to the main office, I check in, I tell them I'm sorry for being late. They asked me what happened. I told them I just wasn't feeling good in the morning, but it went away. They believed me. They gave me a pass so I could go to class late, and I went off to start my school day late. So I go to my third period class because that was the class that was going on at the time when I got there. I walk into class, I sit down, I'm just at my desk doing my work, and in this class I had an assigned seat, and the person next to me was this girl. Let's just call her Maggie. Maggie was very quiet usually. She would usually just kind of sit there and do her work. But the thing about Maggie that I knew immediately is she smoked a lot of weed. Like, ever since I got that assigned seat next to her, I knew that she smoked a ton because she would walk in every day just reeking like weed. I think she literally went outside in between every class and like hit a bull or something. So anyway, yeah, it was like any other day. Maggie and me were just sitting there. I was doing my work. She reeked like weed. She was just kind of trying to do her work. And then all of a sudden, I see her reach into her backpack to start pulling out something. And I see her grab this little Ziploc baggie, and there's weed in it. And I was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And she looks at me and she goes, "Shh." I was like, "I just want to know what you're doing. Like, are you about to smoke in class?" And she goes, "Maybe I will. Are you going to tell on me?" I was like, "No, but like, that's probably not a good idea. Like, that's going to smell up the whole classroom." And she goes, "Oh, no, don't worry. I got one of these things." And she pulls out one of those like smoke buddy things. You blow the smoke into it and it blows out the smoke, smelling different than weed smoke. And I was like, "Okay, I mean, whatever, I guess, but it's probably still going to smell a little bit like weed." And she's like, "Yeah, probably will, but as long as you don't rat on me, we'll be good, won't we?" I was like, "Hey, you don't got to worry about me. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just trying to make sure you're all good." And she goes, "I appreciate it, Austin, but I don't need your help." I was like, "All right, whatever." So she goes and leans down behind the desk and starts lighting her lighter, and she just rips a bowl in the middle of class. And luckily, there was people talking around us, so there was a little bit of like background noise going on, so the teacher couldn't hear her lighting her lighter. But there was one thing that Maggie didn't account for. There was this dude that sat behind us, and he was the biggest snitch on planet Earth. Like, anytime I would talk to one of my friends or Maggie was talking to somebody, he would immediately point us out to the teacher and say that we were talking, and we get in trouble. So when I saw her bending down and lighting her lighter, I immediately turned my head to look at the snitch and see if he was staring at us. And guess what? He was. He was staring right at me with the dirtiest look ever, and he was staring at Maggie at the same time. He kept moving his eyes between both of us. And I could tell by the look on his face that he wanted to snitch on us. So I immediately lean over to him, and I'm like, hey, man, please don't tell the teacher. Like, I'm not smoking. It's just her. But, like, I don't want to see anyone get in trouble today. Could you please just, like, do me and her a favor and not tell the teacher? Because I'll probably get in trouble, too, even though I'm not smoking. And he goes, well, maybe you should have thought of that, Austin, before you sat next to her. I was like, dude, I have an assigned seat because my teacher didn't want me talking to my friends. I can't sit anywhere else. I'm forced to sit here, man. You think I choose to sit here? And he goes, too bad. And he gets up and he starts walking over to the teacher's desk. And I immediately tap on Maggie's shoulder. And I'm like, hey, put that away. He's going to tell on us. That dude's going to tell on us. Like, he's snitching right now. Look. And she immediately throws all of her paraphernalia back in her backpack and zips it up and blew out any smoke in her mouth into that smoke buddy thing and put that back in the bag as well. And she looks up, and we're both watching this dude in real time just snitch on us. And we watched him point at both me and Maggie while he was talking to the teacher. Like, it was just clear as day that he was telling the teacher what she was doing. And yeah, she gets up, the teacher, walks over to me and Maggie and goes, what are you guys doing in here? And we're like, nothing. And Maggie goes, yeah, like nothing. And the teacher goes, Maggie, what's in your backpack? And Maggie goes, you don't have the right to search me. And she goes, yeah, I guess you're right. Go up to the main office, though. They do. And Maggie stands up and starts walking out of the classroom. And then my teacher looks at me and goes, that means you too, Austin. I was like, wait, what? I wasn't doing anything. And the teacher goes, I didn't hear that. I heard you were doing something. Go up to the main office. And I look at her, and I look at the snitch. I look him dead in the face, and I'm like, fuck you, man. You're a piece of shit. And the teacher goes, that's it. Get out of my room now. So I get up, and I walk out of the room. I go up to the main office with Maggie. We sit down with the principal. And my principal wasn't there on that day for some reason. We had this other guy, and he was, like, especially meaner than the other principal. And he sits us both down and goes, all right, so what happened in class? And I just look at Maggie, and she looks at me, and we both look at the principal. And Maggie goes, nothing. And the principal goes, you sure about that? Because I heard different. I heard you guys were smoking something, a little bit of weed, in class. And I look at him, and I'm like, I wasn't smoking anything at all. And Maggie goes, yeah, me neither. She was just lying to save her own ass. I was telling the full truth. I didn't smoke anything. And the principal looks at me. He solos in on me, and he goes, Austin, I've heard about you before. I also checked your file before you came up here. You've been in trouble for this kind of thing before. I could see it on your record here. I was like, yeah, I know. I understand that. But I'm telling you, this time is different. I really wasn't doing anything. He goes, oh, you're like the boy who cried wolf. Well, I'll tell you what, Austin. I'm not like your other principal. I don't give third or fourth chances like your other principal does. I think you should be expelled for what you've done today. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you can't even prove I did anything, and you're going to threaten expulsion? Like, what? And Maggie spoke up as well. She's like, yeah, you can't expel Austin. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. And he goes, stay out of it, Maggie. And once again, he just solos in on me, telling me that I'm some, like, bad kid, and that I've had too many chances, and that he's going to consider expelling me, basically. So after ranting to me that he's going to try and get me expelled for like 10, 15 minutes, he ends off his lecture by saying that I'm being sent home early for the day, and that tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'll have to come back to the office to get my real punishment by my main principal because he was just the substitute. And I said, okay. So I walked out of the office, I went outside, and I had one of my friends come pick me up. That same friend, actually, that I was hanging out with earlier. He wasn't asleep yet, so he was able to come pick me up. And I just remember thinking, why the fuck did I go to school today? I should have just kept skipping. Like, I actually would have gotten in less trouble if I just kept skipping. Anyway, fast forward to the next day. My mom heard about what happened that morning, and I had to explain to her that it wasn't my fault. And she actually believed me, so that was cool. And I went to school in the morning with my mom because she had to be present for the meeting. We pull up to school, we go inside, we go to the main office, we sit down with the actual principal, not the dickhead we had the day before. And my main principal's like, Austin, just tell me what happened yesterday from the start to the finish. We just had Maggie in here before you with her parents, and she told us the whole thing from start to finish, and we want to hear your side of the story. So at this point, I had two choices. I had to make some shit up and lie to protect Maggie, or I tell the truth and protect myself. So I chose to not snitch on Maggie. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try and make something up and hopefully it works. So I go to start telling this story that was completely not real to the principal. And the minute I start talking, my principal interrupts me and goes, and don't say that Maggie wasn't smoking weed, because she told us this morning that she was. Security also searched her yesterday after you left, so don't lie about that to try and protect her. It's like my principal knew what I was about to say, but I'm so lucky that my principal said that, because that means I can tell the truth and not get anybody in trouble. So I told that motherfucker the whole truth. I said from start to finish what happened, and guess what? Thank fuck my principal believed me. And I didn't get suspended or expelled or anything. Only thing that I had done to me was I got sent home early the day before. But yeah, I got completely let off the hook. My parents believed me, my principal believed me, and the real person that I had to thank for all of this is Maggie. She told the whole truth and said that I wasn't smoking and that it was just her. So when I told my side of the story and it matched up to hers, I didn't get in trouble. So yeah, moral of the story is, just don't do what I did in this story time at all, in any way, shape, or form. And also, fuck that dude that told the teacher because he didn't give her all the details and the teacher thought that I was smoking too and got me all mixed up in this mess. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. I thought it was a pretty crazy one. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace. They leave me out for the dead and now they know they're fucked. All my texts are on red.